Hey folks, this is Rob from LearnByTheDrop.com. Learn by the Drop is a place to learn Drupal, and this is lesson 13 of my special Getting Started with Drupal series, and in this lesson we're going to focus on configuring the user profile in Drupal. One of the great core features of the Drupal platform is the ability to set up configurable user profiles with different information and with a picture, and it allows the primary publishers and users on your site to represent themselves pretty well. So we're going to get started by heading over to our test site at gettingstarted.awakenvoice.com. And first thing we're going to do is head over to our blog posts that we've been setting up. Now I'm logged in right now as an administrator, and right now as an administrator logged in, we can see that I have this post information, and it says that it was posted on this date by Getting Started, and that's my user profile right now, which is very bare and not accessible to users who aren't logged in. Now if I look at another browser here, I can see the same post, and since this is another browser, it doesn't recognize me as logged in, and we can see that the user can't click in to get to the profile. So first thing we want to do is set up the profile so that it has the information that we want, and then once it looks the way we want it to, we will then allow users to have access to that. One thing that I'll also do is I'll set up a module at the end of this lesson that will allow us to put a real name in this part of the information as opposed to just the username, so we can get even more personal. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do, going back to our development site, is go over to site building and modules, and what we're going to want to do is enable the core profile module. So when you get into your module listing, you should see this profile module down here. You want to select that and then click Save Configuration. Okay, once the configuration options have been saved, we want to head over to User Management and Profiles. Okay, now what we'll see here is a screen that shows us what profile fields that we have available. And right now we have no fields available, and in order to customize the profile, what we want to do is add some of these fields. So let's say we're going to add a single line text field, and the first thing we can do here is we can add it to a category. So let's add a new category, and let's just be really basic and call it personal information, just like the example here. The title of the new field is going to be full name, and then we need to give it a name that will be covered in the database. So we'll say full profile underscore full underscore name, and the explanation is going to be please enter your first and last name. And then we get to set the visibility, so we can make it a hidden field, a private field, and let's say this is a public field, content shown on profile page but not on member list pages, and that's fine right now. And then to enable browsing, enter a title for the resulting page, and we're not going to enable browsing for this right now. We're just going to set up the profile. We can have an autocomplete. We can make it this field required, which we're going to do. And then, is it visible in the user registration form? Right now, we're not going to get into setting up user registration forms, so we're just going to say no on that for now. So let's save that field. Okay, so once that's been saved, we should see full name has been created. Okay, once we've added our name field, let's add a little bit more of personal information, and we can add a list. So maybe let's add a list, and we'll enter that under the same category, and you'll notice that this field category will autocomplete. We'll make the title gender, so whether the author is male or female, and we'll say please select the proper gender. And then selection options, a list of all options, put each option on a separate line. So we can say male and then female. And then we're going to keep that public. User must enter a value. And we're going to save that. We'll add one more field underneath the personal information. We'll make that a multi-line text field. And enter the category again. We're going to call this bio. And we'll make it profile bio. And then we can say please enter a short biography to tell people about yourself. Again, we're going to make it a public field. And then user must enter a value, and we're going to save that. Okay, so we have our 3 fields under personal information. Now, one thing I want you to notice here is that you can order these in any way that you want by clicking and dragging. So, for example, I can click bio and move that up to the second position, and I can save that. And that'll tell us that the profile fields have been updated, and so now my order that people will see this is full name, bio, and gender. Now we can also add another group, and let's add a group for let's just say URL for links. So let's click on URL, and this can be a link to a home page or to different, and let's say call it my links will be the category, and this title will be home page, and let's call it profile home page, and enter a description. Please enter please enter a link to your home page. Again, we'll make it a public field, and let's say that the user must enter a value because you need to have a home page in order to publish on this site. Okay, and now we see this My Links section, and then we can also, let's add another link. Let's say maybe add for a social network, and let's call it social network, and we'll call profile name social network. And we'll say please enter a link to your favorite social network profile. And we're going to say that that's optional. Okay, so we've created a number of fields. We've created a couple of sections here. And now what I'm going to want to do is let's go and fill that out on my account. So I should be able to see those new fields if I go over to my account and select Edit. And you can see I already have a number of options here that I've set up previously. When I set up the Gravatar module, that allowed the picture to be displayed, so I'm not going to change that. But now we see that I also have these 2 tabs here, My Links and Personal Information. So let me click on Personal Information. and I'm going to enter my name, and then my bio. I'm going to keep it short. And then my gender, and that gender field isn't showing up exactly the way I want to. For now, I'm just going to save it, and we'll figure that out. Now, when I go to look at my profile, I should see that. Now, what I'm going to need to do is probably go and disable the rich text editor for that gender list. So let's do that quickly. I go to User Management, Profiles. And that's one area where it seems that that this rich text editor did not help out. So let me change that to plain text and switch that and then save it, and it all should be good. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my account, and hopefully that clears up. If I edit it, and I go to personal information, and now I'm going to reselect my gender, male, and then I'm also going to add my links here as well. I'll put in awakenvoice.com and then my Twitter. And save that. Okay, so now when I go to view my profile, I should see here the personal information, bio, my gender, and then the 2 links that I added along with my picture, which we had added previously in a previous lesson using the Gravatar module. Now let's say we want to open this up to all users who visit the site. We can go back to User Management Permissions. Okay, so we want to give anonymous users the ability to access user profiles, and that's down at the bottom under the user modules. And so we'll click that and then click Save Permissions. Okay, so now if I come back to my post here and I refresh this page, I should now get a link to the profile. I can click it, and now I can see the profile. Pretty simple, just to get a basic user profile set up, and you can add more fields as appropriate. Let's go back to our development site, and so you can just come back to User Management Profiles and add more fields if you want. Now, one thing I had mentioned was adding a module that would allow us to show a real name instead of the username. And for this, we're going to use the Real Names module. If you go to drupal.org/project/realname, and this is a module that will allow you to use a real name in that field instead of that username field. Thanks for watching the free preview of this drop. Head over to learnbythedrop.com to download a copy of this preview or purchase a high-resolution copy that includes additional instructional content.